Welcome to the PAWSCAST, and now here are our hosts, Vandivier and Tyjae B.
Hi everyone, today we're joined by Norma Sosa, LCPC and staff counselor at Frostburg State University's Counseling and Psychological Services. I'm Dr. Amanda Vandivier.
And I'm Tyjae Bolton, and today we're going to be talking about anxiety.
So in our society, we are ridiculoly anxious. We are constantly on edge. We really struggle with finding peace and being calm. Mm-hmm. So let's start talking about this. How would you define anxiety? So what are the symptoms? What's it like to experience anxiety?
Okay, I think there's a misconception of emotions and anxiety because we have to see emotions as a continuum.
Mm-hmm.
So we all experience anxiety.
Yes.
I may be experiencing anxiety right now by being here. I just met you. It's just a new city.
Yeah.
It's the degree of the emotion that's going to make a difference.
Mm-hmm. That's a really great point.
Yeah.
So I guess today we're going to talk about severe anxiety, that extreme and that continuum.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what we're going to do, Because we need anxiety as any other emotion. We're human beings. We feel emotions, and depends on the situation. It's going to go higher or lower. But specifically with anxiety, the pros of feeling anxiety is being able to perform well, to do well, to be careful. If I'm driving, could you imagine we're driving, I don't have any anxiety about be careful what the other driver's doing, are you going too fast, or maybe way too slow, then it would be a disaster, So I guess we're going to talk about more severity of anxiety. It's going to make a difference.
Yeah, that's a really good point, because I know once I get up over 10 miles an hour over the speed limit, I start to feel like, there could be a cop up here. I need to slow down. I don't want a speeding ticket. So that anxiety can be really helpful too. Interesting.
Mm-hmm. So what's different from anxiety and stress? I feel like a lot of times those get mixed into interchangeable kind of terms. So what is the difference between stress and anxiety?
Okay. Stress comes first. That's the way I see it. Many people see it differently. But then too much stress can really elevate, anxiety, the anxiety level. Mm-hmm. So stress is basically feeling like you're bombarded, and sometimes, you start feeling like how difficult it is to go through, this time with what I'm doing. I'm feeling tired. I'm feeling like I'm just, I cannot focus. I cannot concentrate. And then, if I continue into that, then I always start feeling this fear, because fear is the simple word for anxiety. I'm going to fail, and something's, it's going to be a disaster. Mm-hmm. So that's basically the difference. We deal with the stress every day. In every moment, a situation that's more complicated. Feel like, okay, I'm going to be able to deal with this or not. But then it can go down. We're able to manage that. But if we keep out with that, we start to easily see severe anxiety, if not depression too. Yeah.
So you mentioned that fear is anxiety, basically. I have a problem with saying that I'm fearful of something, because I feel like it's like the demeaning term for me. So do you think that me realizing that my anxiety is fear will help me with my anxiety? Instead of me trying to think, oh, I'm just nervous, rather than be like, Tyjae, you're scared. Just say that you're scared. would that help me with like dealing with my anxiety? Just coming to terms with myself that this is fear.
Yeah, because there's nothing better than the truth. The truth
Yeah.
is, it's just to acknowledge this is, to the point this is affecting me. That's it. So from there, just to know what I can do about this.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Instead of just getting stuck with just the fear.
Mm-hmm.
What I can do about this.
That's a very good question. And one of the things I've experienced with stress, or with anxiety, like even something good can cause me anxiety. Well, this podcast, I'm really excited about it, but there's some anxiety there too.
Right.
So it's not, but it is fear-based. It is like, oh, I'm going to screw up, or I'm going to suddenly lose the ability to speak. So yeah, I think that's a really good way to put that. Mm-hmm. So it can be from positive stimuli or negative stimuli. It can be.
Yeah, it's anything new. Anything that's new, because even you have been doing this.
Yeah.
For now, it's a new topic, a new person. There's something novelty. Mm-hmm. Factor can increase. Inside.
Yeah. So change. Change can be difficult. Yeah. So how common are anxiety issues in the United States? Like I said, it seems like everybody has anxiety issues, but when we're talking about something that you need to seek counseling for, how common is that, do you think?
I think it's pretty common, because there's a tendency to stay there.
Yeah.
With my anxiety. I'm very anxious. And quite often, and this is kind of what people obviously with the level of intelligence kind of be higher, to use your mind to justify things, to control things. Even I'm going with all this anxiety running high, but my mind, you're not able to control that. Mm-hmm. But then, there's a change. And this is when we may see people in treatment when they're failing. They start failing. They start failing, and they're unable to concentrate. Their memory is failing. They're making mistakes. They don't want to get up in the morning. So that's what we see. And I'm explaining this because this is what you typically will see in a setting like in college, at university, where they do the best to manage those times, but then something is different, and then they cannot perform the same way they were doing it before.
Yeah, that makes sense. So if it's something that we can handle along the way, then it's not necessarily something that we may need to seek help for. But if it gets to the point where we feel overwhelmed, we're not able to handle everything like we used to, that might be the time to look into counseling. Yeah, that makes complete sense.
So people start experiencing this more severe symptoms, panic attack.
Oh yeah. Yeah, nobody wants a panic attack.
Yeah. So.
I've definitely had a panic attack before one time. I just turned 17. I had no idea what a panic attack was, or even that I was capable of having one. I just experienced a really stressful situation that triggered another stress concern of mine. And I had this panic attack in the bathroom, and I didn't know how to deal with it. So all I knew to do was to breathe. And I felt like that was just like an innate response for me. So what do you feel like are some other ways to help you deal with a panic attack if you were to have one?
But breathing actually is the best tool.
Okay.
It's the best tool to when we are having, but not only when it has severe anxiety, like in this case, even have a panic attack. I think that's breathing is a good tool to practice every day. To practice every day. So what happened during the panic attack, obviously it's difficult if you the first time you experience something like that. People are thinking, I'm dying, what is going on here? So I guess it's good but that's what's important to be prepared. And I guess also very important doing something like this podcast so people can be educated. Mm-hmm. This can happen to me. So what can I do? And breathing is the basic tool you can utilize in that moment.
Mm-hmm. So when are there some times that anxiety can be useful?
Well, depends. But what we were talking earlier, obviously, you're driving, you need to be, okay, I need to slow down because I can get a ticket. Right. If you're in college, if I don't read, my assignment, I may have a good grade. I don't want to have a good grade. Mm-hmm. So, in those kind of situations. Now, by nature, severe anxiety or extreme fear obviously have a survival, so in that case, it's activated. It's activated, because that's the survival meaning. That's why we need to escape, we need to fight.
Yeah.
So, but then all those changes that take place in my body is preparing me to survive, to fight for my life, either fighting, physically fighting or escaping, running away.
Yeah. So, you talked about breathing and making sure that you're deep breathing. What other types of techniques would you recommend for people that are maybe not to the point of needing counseling for their anxiety issues, but they're feeling it, like especially like during midterms of finals?
Besides breathing?
Yeah, besides breathing, like what other techniques would you recommend?
Okay, when we have anxiety, that's number one, we need to work with my body. Yeah. It means I need to work with my brain. So the same route it takes my brain to read situations that could be, dangerous. Mm-hmm. I can do it, to help my brain, read that it's safe. And it's what's called grounding. Mm-hmm. Basically, make sure I know I'm in this room. Mm-hmm. And there's nothing dangerous in this room, And by grounding means using your senses. So I'm going to focus on what I'm seeing, I'll maybe focus on what I'm listening, maybe what I'm smelling, how it feels, the temperature in this room. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to be focused on that. And when you do it, you can feel like start going down. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So that is also another technique, how to be present. Mm-hmm. It's very popular now the word mindfulness, because that's what's part of that, how you're here and your mind needs to be here too. Mm-hmm. Following my senses instead of like still thinking, well, I'm here, they're interviewing me. What I'm saying doesn't make sense. Maybe no. That only is God feeding into that anxiety. Yeah, but I'm sitting here and looking at her and looking at you, and I like for her, those kind of things help you to stay anchored here. Mm-hmm. That's another great technique. Yeah. Now, also, it's very important because people say, okay, only help me there, but then an hour later, I'm still feeling anxious, so it's not working. Mm-hmm. It's practice. Mm-hmm. Practice is going to help. Yeah. That's what I said. Breathing needs to take place every day. The same thing we go to the gym because we want to see a change in the body. We need to practice. And when we practice, after the effects are building up.
Mm-hmm.
So that's going to make a big difference.
There's that joke that I ate a salad last week and I still haven't seen any changes on the scale. Like, yeah, that's exactly what happens, I think, with us.
Yeah.
Like, we try it once and it doesn't work long term, so we'll give up on it. We don't need to do that. But I know for me, I have a touch of ADHD, and the way you were describing how our mind wanders off, like, yeah, I can relate to that. I'm like wandered off watching people walk by and stuff like that, and just it's a constant refocus. And it's not like a stressful thing. It's just, hey, Mandy, come on back. You wandered off. It's okay. Come on back. And just being, I bet there's a correlation between people with ADHD and people with anxiety issues. But it's very important for me to do that mindfulness, to be grounded, to focus on the here and now, because my mind can spin out and have scenarios upon scenarios upon scenarios of something that could happen, and that just causes me more anxiety. So, and it's living in the future or thinking about the past. It's not what is happening right now. And when I'm living right now and focused on right now, I'm not experiencing anxiety in any way, shape, or form like it is when I'm thinking about stuff in the past or the present.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, really good points.
You're right. ADHD and anxiety, there are some symptoms that overlap.
Yeah.
Yeah. Definitely. So, because if I were sitting here thinking, well, I have to see someone at 1 o'clock and we need to talk about this, and you're talking to me, I may not be like, well, what did you say? My attention is going to go, really down. So yeah, definitely, it's important to be here.
Yeah, being within the current. And you also mentioned spinning out and how that could worsen your anxiety. So what kind of other things make your anxiety worse?
Your thoughts, definitely. That is, especially as an adult, it starts changing between 11 and 13 years old. We are able, again, the brain is at a point that we can think in a more complex way, more abstract way. So, and thoughts is the trigger of anxiety, make the anxiety really bad. So, definitely thoughts, something to pay attention. What am I thinking? I'm just entertaining worries way too much for too long. This can make a big difference.
Could people, place, and things also worsen your anxiety? Like if you've been somewhere and you experienced a traumatic experience, could that be something that makes your anxiety worse if you were to go back to this place or see this person again?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, that is also, makes that where there always is a more concrete experience. Something that happened to me in this room, if I come back, I'm going to experience that again. That's what's important when they need treatment. Because I may not come back to the same room, but I can go to a different setting and still have the same reaction.
To remind you of the
that my senses, my brain is, it's that's the way my brain is processing the input it's getting through my senses. Something about this room reminds me of that room where I had that experience.
Yeah, that makes complete sense. I had a traumatic experience in a hospital, and now any hospital, just as soon as I pull into the parking spot, I already start feel my anxiety start freezing, and I have to do the deep breathing, talk to myself, and say, "Mandy, you're okay. It's all right. Nothing bad's gonna happen." And try and do that relaxation that you're talking about and being mindful and being in the moment and just not thinking about that traumatic issue, like coming back to, we're right here. We're not there, we're right here. So that's very important.
It's a new place and it's experience.
Yeah, absolutely. Putting it in that terms. It's a new place, it's a new experience. So that's a really good like mantra to have going on in your head when something like that's happening. I like that. So is there anything that we did not cover that you would like to mention or talk about?
About it, this topic.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this is with anxiety, it can be really managed really well if we learn, as I said, to use those techniques we have been discussing.
Yeah.
Because it's just you need to do a switch in your nerve system.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously too, work on your thoughts, what is there present. It's going to be also very important. What is going on through my mind is making this situation worse or unrealistic. Sometimes, quite often, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
And also, it's very important, and I guess it's for good to talk about this briefly. How we create balance. We were talking earlier about stress.
Mm-hmm.
We cannot avoid stress. Demand, we can avoid it. And especially you were doing something we enjoy, but it comes with stress and it comes with demands.
Yes.
So it's very important to create balance in my life. That I have that side of part of my life that when I walk away from a classroom or my office, I'm making sure, that I'm going to do things I'm going to feel good.
Mm-hmm.
Something is mindfulness. When it just I'm going to feel good. So creating the balance, is really healthy.
That makes complete sense. Yeah. So, if someone has anxiety issues, what type of resources that do you know of that are available for them in the community? What would be available? What would you suggest if someone had anxiety issues?
Well, definitely, I think they need to go to counseling. For one, I think it's important that you learn more about my anxiety.
Yeah.
And each person is different. Mm-hmm. So that's very important to talk to a professional to learn about my anxiety.
Yeah.
So I know, okay, this is what I need to do. This is what is going to help me. Because not everything applies to everyone,
Right.
Breathing, it does, definitely, because we want or not, when we breathe, we create those changes in my body. And so that is a given, it's going to work. But when we talk about the techniques like grounding, maybe this technique is not going to work for me, maybe this one. And also learn other ways they can help the body create a change in the nerve system. So that's definitely. 2, go outside. Even if you don't like outdoors, reinvent yourself and enjoy being outdoors. Nature is amazing. That is also the best ally we can have. We came from nature.
Yes.
When we start as a human being, we didn't start inside of a building. We started out there, and reconnecting is very healthy. There's even a study that found treatment for people, and when one was indoors and the other one had to do activities outdoors. The people who do activities outdoors, they improve a lot,
Absolutely.
compared to those who did it indoors. So it's very healthy, go outside and, go for a walk, reconnect. So I think that is, and it's free.
Yeah.
It's great. You know, I think that's a good way to also do something for yourself. You know, yeah.
That makes sense.
I definitely had feelings of that this week. I was doing homework and I was feeling like stressed out about my capstone project. And I called my sister and she said, Tyjae, go outside, go take a walk or something. And I did. And literally the sun and the air and the trees and the birds really made me feel good about myself. And it gave me the strength to go back and finish or continue working on my project. So that is definitely true.
Yeah. Something else that you know, sometimes people feel limited or not open because of some belief. Take a nap.
That's a great one. That's my favorite one.
Yeah.
Take a nap. Just allow yourself, you know, to if your body is feeling sleepy, go for it. You know?
Yeah, absolutely.
So what kind of resources would you suggest for students of this campus in particular? How would they go about dealing with their anxiety and relative issues like that?
Besides seeking professional help?
Like professional help too, you know.
Yeah. Well, you know, now you use your cell phones. So go there and find, you know, any apps. There are plenty of apps, you know, where they can help you to go through anxiety. You don't need to go necessarily to professional to cabs. But find an app, you know, that maybe you can find, you know, some people are not into meditation, but I will suggest try it, even 5 minutes. And try it, and you will see a big difference. There's soothing music. So that is a good source. Get your phone and find apps, find videos, you know.
Great examples. And I was just thinking, like, I bet the Student Support Center has people to help with, like, test anxiety and stuff like that, too.
They do.
Time management and stuff.
And even if you need help, like, if you're not a good test taker within the classroom, you can go and make those revisions and go take tests in there with them.
Yeah. So also we have FSU Safe Office, and we provide resources also for people that are looking for some help. We provide peer counseling, we provide educational programming, and we're just there for moral support. If you need someone to talk to and you've got 15 minutes and you're about to go take the test or you're about to go on a stressful drive or something, come on and talk to us. And speaking of, we've talked about stress during this podcast, so please check out our other podcast on stress, and we'll have that in our resources list. So please check that out too. And we want to thank Norma for coming in and talking to us today about anxiety and just blessing us with all this knowledge. So thank you very much, Norma, and everybody have a good day. Bye.
Thank you for being a part of our PAWSCAST. This health and wellness podcast is brought to you by the Prevention Center and Peer Education Network at Frostburg State University. If you would like more information about our programs, visit us in Pullen Hall 109 or call us at 301-687-4761. Or you could also send us an email at safeoffice@frostburg.edu.